Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this. This is Daily LK for the 6th of August, 2016. We're going to be covering lots of topics today on this program. We're going to be talking about TNA demanding a certain price for Bobby Lashley. We're going to give you update coverage of the G1 Climax, a angle that's going on in Monday Night Raw, TNA Impact Wrestling viewership figures, which may cause some concern for Impact fans. We have an injury angle going on right now. Ryback, Conor McGregor, lots to talk about today on the show. So we're not going to waste any time. I am LK, your host from KocoSports.net. And let's get in with the show. So start with TNA demanding a price for Bobby Lashley. So Bobby Lashley, some of you may know, he works for the company Lucha Elite. Okay, it's a company in Mexico. There is, in my eyes, there's the big three. You've got CMLL, you have Lucha Elite, and you've also got AAA. Lashley is working under Lucha Elite as he's part of the Elite tournament for the championship. I don't know if it's for the championship or not. All I know is Michael Elgin is the Lucha Elite World Champion of that organization. So one promoter who had Lashley booked for the organization says that TNA Wrestling has obviously taken control of the pricing of the bookings. Because the way I'm gathering this is because TNA re-signed Lashley to more of an exclusive deal so they can pick and choose who he works for. I'm guessing the company pays TNA and then they pay Lashley. So I'm guessing, say Lashley's on, say what he's on. He's on $70,000 a year. We'll just make that up. Say Lashley's on $70,000 a year. That will mean that TNA will pay that each month. So say he's on, do 70 divided by 12. That's what he'll be on. By the way, 70,000 is a really low number for Lashley, considering Moose is on a ridiculous amount. So that's, we'll go with that. So Lashley's on 70,000 a year. TNA, in that time, will get money to pay him to do these events. So I think 6,000 per match. It's apparently the promoter said it's far more than Lashley had been charging in the past. Obviously, this leading to Lashley being pulled from the tournament. $6,000. I mean, that's pretty much your gates sorted out there, isn't it? That's absolutely ridiculous and insane. Lashley's also been pulled from other events, including wrestling shows in Puerto Rico. And if you are really that sad and like myself actually interested, the person who will be taking his place in that Lucha Elite tournament will be Teddy Hart. Okay, so here's a bit of information for you guys. The G1 Climax, as of right now, I'm recording night 13 on August the 6th. It obviously today is actually taking place. So I'm going to give you the updating standings as of the last show, which took place on August the 4th, a few days ago. So Block A, this is from the top down. So IWGP Welterweight Champion Kazuchika Okada is on 10 points. His record, 5 wins, 1 loss. Second place, joint second place, is Maccabee with 8 points, 4 wins, 2 losses. Same as Pro Wrestling Noah's Marufuji. He's also on 8 points, 4-2. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, and Fat Fuck Fale all on 6 points, all on the same 3 wins, 3 losses category. Tenzon, who had an absolutely magnificent start to the tournament, he has dropped. So he obviously kicked off with 2 big wins and has lost his last 4 matches, which is a tragic shame. So I thought, to capitalize, like in every G1, there's been the story, like last year, the story of Honma not getting that G1 win. And then finally, when he got it, actually meant something. It was actually a real big moment for the guy. I thought this was going to be the year that Tenzon got all the way to the final. And he'd get to the final and he'd lose. And it'll be that heartbreaking moment. And then Kojima, my eyes, I talked about this off air. I think it was Koco. I'm not sure. I talked about it with someone off air. I said, wouldn't it be fucking awesome if Kojima attacks Tenzon after? Just goes full-fledged heel saying, Tenzon, obviously in Japanese, I gave you this opportunity. I gave you my spot in the G1 under one condition: you win. You didn't win. You're a failure. You're an embarrassment of a friend and a waste of space as a human being. Tenzon goes, bro, why? What's up? You know, I think that could be a great little story that they could do. Ishii obviously on 4 points, shocking. Sanada on 4 points as well. He beat IWGP Heavyweight Champion Okada. I think it was night 1 or night 3. But it was really shocking. So he's actually entitled to a World Championship match. Because if you beat the World Champion in the G1, you get a championship match, which is a really nice booking method. And Tamatonga also on 4 points. Block B, we have joint first place, Naito and Michael Elgin, the IWGP IC champion, so like I touched on earlier, the Lucha Elite world champion. You have Shibata on 6 points, the never openweight champion. You've got Kenny Omega on 6, Nakajima on 6, Yuji Nagata on 6, Yoshihashi on 6. You got top place, really isn't. It's not like Okada where he's a few points ahead of everyone. That really is a tough group here, and really all to play for. Yano on 6 points. Everyone apart from Honma and Evil are in the runnings, in my opinion. So there's the G1. Prediction-wise, I think we're going to get a Naito. I think we're going to get a Naito. I don't think that. I honestly believe we're going to get a Naito Okada world title match at Wrestle Kingdom 11 or the January 4th Super Show, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So I'm picturing maybe a Shibata Okada or an Elgin or an Omega Okada. I'm really not sure, unless they do Naito Okada in the final and then have Naito beat Okada to win the G1, which means he'll have super confidence heading into Wrestle Kingdom next year, where he then faces Okada again, but that means you're replaying the same match. We've seen Okada-Naito at Dominion, we've seen it before where Naito won the world title, now we're going to see it at the G1 final, then you're going to see it again in a few months at January the 4th show. I think that's a bit silly and a bit illogical booking. So unless you have Okada win the G1, I mean, I wouldn't understand the reasoning in that. Unless Okada loses the next... unless Tanahashi beats Okada and then he's on 8 points and then Okada loses a match, they're both on 10 points, then because Tanahashi beat Okada, Tanahashi gets to the final, and then you're setting up a Tanahashi-Okada match on the road to the Wrestle Kingdom 11, where you can have Okada really solidify his world title run with a win over Hiroshi Tanahashi. And even though the Japanese fan base have seen this match 24,000 times in an American, well, I've watched it, every single Wrestle Kingdom I've watched, the main event has been Okada and Tanahashi, even though I've only watched 2, but that's to my discredit. But as a whole, I think Okada should lose to Tanahashi in this G1. I think then he should lose to someone else so that Tanahashi and Okada are both on 10 points. Tanahashi obviously beating Okada means he will be the winner of that group. And then do Tanahashi versus Naito. Naito defeats Tanahashi. Okada defeats Tanahashi on the road to Wrestle Kingdom 11. And there you go. Bob's your uncle. Fanny's your answer. There's a bit of G1 and New Japan Pro Wrestling talk. We'll talk a Raw TV update. After this is straight from WWE.com, and it's such a. I hate the way they explain this. After the chaos of Randy Orton crashing Monday Night Raw and Brock Lesnar crashing SmackDown Live last week, WWE has set up follow-through for this Monday on Raw. They announced that SmackDown GM Daniel Bryan has been invited to Raw to meet with Raw GM Mick Foley. Foley and Bryan will be looking to resolve the Orton-Lesnar situation leading into their SummerSlam match on August 21st. So here's the updated Raw lineup for this week's Monday Night Raw. And I sincerely apologise why there's been no Raw review this week. I know Booms, thank you very much. Booms covered the SmackDown. That's my fault. I took a vacation week, spent lots of time with my girlfriend, spent some time with a friend, just had to catch up on life. It's the 6-week summer holiday over here in England. It's hotter than my nan. Alright? And that's saying something. So you have SmackDown GM Bryan meeting Foley. Sean Puff Fuck Off Daddy coming as his guest star. Fuck off. You have the follow-up of, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, Big E's injury, and obviously the build-up to the WWE Universal Championship match between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. I thought Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn was great on this week's Raw, by the way, and I thought Finn Balor versus, not Finn Balor, Finn Balor's promo with Seth Rollins is very good. Not to be foreshadowed, though, with Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose promo from this week's edition of SmackDown Live. I thought that was on point. I thought that was a magnificent promo. That was a great... I didn't realise Ziggler still had it in him. Lots of people didn't like it, but I liked it. Sad news for Impact fans. I haven't watched Impact since its move. I've just been really lacking in my watching of the old sport of pro wrestling as of late. Not really good. I need to pick that up. Still watched NXT, still watched Raw, still watched SmackDown, still watched a few days of G1 here and there. I think the last one I watched was the August 4th. I just haven't been reviewing them because I've kind of been watching it but not taking notes. And if I don't take notes on a show, I'm not going to review it. I'm a notes-driven guy. Right now, I'm reading notes. I don't know how people can just come, mad props, and just respect to everyone who goes on these shows. I know Koco goes on, just no notes. He has the list of results, and he can work off that. That takes great skill. And one day I'll pick that up just for me. I like having notes. I like feeling confident that no matter how off topic and stupidly, outrageously far ahead I go, I can always go back to the old notes. So, Impact drew 317,000 views for the 4th of August edition of TNA Impact Wrestling, down from 350,000 viewers. They are down 100,000 viewers from the first week they had on Thursday nights, which drew 410,000. Obviously, that was a combined viewing of the replay included, but that was the week after final deletion. But it's just, it's sad because I thought, Impact went from 410 including replay down to 350 not including replay. I thought, okay, because there's no replay, I'll let that one slide. If they stick with that 350 and make that 350 that core audience and then build upon that on this road to Bound for Glory, I think they could be all right. But I think they dropped the ball. I think we're down to 300,000. The social media buzz is quite frankly non-existent. And considering the giant just leap from 350, 300,000. All it takes is next week, 300. If the same audience doesn't come back, we cut again. TNA was just, they had this raw momentum with this final deletion act, but it was, as many people were concerned, a one-hit wonder. It gave them a spike in the, no pun intended, a spike in the TV ratings and the viewership figures for that 1 week. The next week, people were curious, I might stick around. The move to Thursday, always fresh, it's semi-live, I'll give it a watch, and then, boom, back down to 300,000. I honestly believe, in my heart of hearts, 275 to 300,000 is the core fan base for Impact in America. And it's just the way it is. Like, it's just, there's a stigma. There is a stigma with TNA. Now I come on here and I say you should support the sport of pro wrestling. I say that all the time. I do. That's like a motto we have, But at the end of the day, the stigma that TNA has stuck hook, line, sinker. You don't watch TNA. Why? Because it's second-rate WWE. The production values are lower. They nick their talent. They don't build their talent. It's like I used to watch when AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, Eric Young were in TNA. Now I don't because it's fucking WWE wash-ups. That's the stigma. That's not me saying that. That's what I hear from other people. Now, when I actually sit down, and I know I will watch Impact next week, believe me. I might even watch Impact on Sunday on Challenge TV. But when I watch Impact, I think it's an absolutely magnificent wrestling show. I do. It's just they just don't get the eyeballs. They're not on a big enough network. They lost the Spike deal, which I guarantee you, losing the Spike deal was the worst thing that could happen to Impact. If Impact was on Spike, they would be doing 1 million views. Guarantee it. With this show that they have, AJ Styles would have stayed because they would have had more money. Bobby Roode would have stayed, had more money. Eric Young would have stayed, had more money. Well, you can't really say they would have stayed. Obviously, AJ Styles could have made that jump to the league because he wanted to experience it. But if he was still with TNA, I still think Angle would be there. All these guys would still be there. They're not there now because why? What's the point? It's a sinking ship. They don't want to be a part of it. And I'm sorry to all you TNA diehards, it's going to die. Simple as, I hate saying this because I remember the very first show I watched of Impact, 2008, TNA Victory Road on the old BT Vision box here in England. And I remember standing up and saying, that's fucking awesome. That's the pro wrestling I love. And from that, I went on to Ring of Honor. Now I do Ring of Honor, New Japan, TNA, WWE, NXT, fucking Revolution Pro Wrestling. Next Friday, I'm going to Revolution Pro Wrestling's Vader versus Will Ospreay, and I'm fucking pumped. It got my juices flowing for wrestling, not sports entertainment. But for fuck's sake, it's going to die. They're not making enough money. People don't get fucking paid on time. This ship is going to sink, and I don't want it to sink, but it's going to. And people saying it's not going to are fucking liars. You are lying. 300,000 people. That's it. 300,000. Fuck me sideways. Unbelievable. Ring of Honor. I guarantee you, if you looked up all this, Ring of Honor are doing magnificent. They're on syndicated broadcast stations every Saturday. They're on Fight TV app on Mondays. They're on Wednesdays. They're on Comet. They're fine. They do pay-per-views bi-monthly. They are fine. They got a pay-per-view coming up in later this month, which I'm fucking pumped for, and I'm going to buy on my Fight TV app gimmick. I'm pumped. What does TNA do? They have a weekly show, which was taped 17 years ago. Okay, Ring of Honor maybe taped a long time ago, but at least for fuck's sake, we get live programming every now and then. Okay, we get a semi-live Impact, which isn't really live, is it? Because you know what's going to happen an hour before. And imbeciles on Twitter spoiling. I'm sorry to get on this tirade, but I need to get this off my chest because I cannot stand people telling me, oh, why are you so negative about TNA? I'm not negative about TNA. TNA is a great program. It is usually better than Raw, usually better than SmackDown, usually very good, but it just has a stigma. It has a stigma on it that you can't erase. No matter how, you could have 5-star match, 5-star match, 5-star match, 5-star storylines, storylines that are so good, they are the best storylines in the history of professional wrestling, but because it's called TNA, because it's called Impact Wrestling, my friends, it will not get watched. And I'm sorry, that rant has been building up on me for the past, who knows, fucking year, and fuck it, I'm gonna let it out. Unbelievable. So, that being said, WWE is running an injury angle. The Big E is out indefinitely from in-ring action. Obviously, Monday Night Raw, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows posted Big E in the groin, which led to WWE hyping this injury situation, obviously saying, excuse me guys, sorry about that, saying, hey look, check out WWE.com on Friday. Well, on Friday, which is yesterday, it said, it's unknown at this time, exact quote, when the WWE Tag Team Champion will return to the ring. New Day is expected to defend their WWE Tag Team Championship against the club at SummerSlam, but it remains to be seen if Big E is part of this equation. So obviously in the future, it'll be Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. So, stop shouting, you prick. I'm trying to record a damn podcast here, you motherfucker. God's sake. That's the issue with doing it in the bedroom. That's one of the big issues with doing it in my bedroom. I don't like doing it in my bedroom often, but it's just so damn hot. And in there, I checked in the office, it was over fucking 25 degrees in here. It's nice and cool. I got the old aircon going on over there. It's fucking beautiful. So, Ryback, the big guy, has announced his resignation from the WWE. So, WWE is yet to acknowledge Ryback's exit, and he's still listed on WWE's roster page. So, Ryback said this in a social media video on Friday. The big guy, Ryback, would like to wish WWE the best in their future endeavours. From this point forward, myself and WWE will no longer be conducting business together. Ryback also announced the launch of FeedMeMore.com on August 8th with clothing, nutrition, and an inspirational book. Ryback said he's also taking bookings on a full-time schedule after leaving WWE. He said he can be booked at bookthebigguy@yahoo.com. So if you want to send hate mail to this show, send it over to bookthebigguy@yahoo.com. Obviously, Ryback was not drafted. Obviously, he moaned and groaned about pay earlier on in the year. That was all covered on a show. I think I went on a massive tirade and a massive rant about Ryback, and I don't really feel like I'm in the mood for another rant before I fucking have a heart attack live on air. And I don't want to die. I don't want to die yet, my friends. I don't want to die yet. And it was just, to me, I think his moaning of he doesn't work as often as me, but he gets paid more than me really is bullshit, because he's selling tickets, he's selling merchandise, he's getting people into the buildings. Yes, you're performing on that show. So you're telling me Heath Slater, he works every single night of the week, he deserves to get paid more than John Cena? No. Seth Rollins deserves to get paid more than Heath Slater. He's working just as much, but he's a bigger star. And the reason why they do that is because it's like a normal job. You have your workers, you have your trainers, and you have your managers, and you have store managers. Okay, that's how the system works. If I'm a worker, I'm not going to complain and moan that the store manager's getting paid more than me. He's worked his way up there. You know, Seth Rollins didn't start off John Cena didn't start off on what he's on now. He started as a worker, but he worked his way up the pay, worked his way up the pay, to now. If Ryback stopped whinging, stopped moaning, worked his way up, he would earn more money. Fucking dozy cunt. I don't like using that word. I really don't. If my mum heard that, she would have slapped me. Wouldn't slap me, she should have said, stop saying that word. Never slapped me in my life. I'm lenient, parents love it. But it is a dodgy word, and I don't like using it. But that's how angry and passionate I am. Like, I don't. If you ever hear me using that word, I'm really fucked off. So Ryback, you're an imbecile, and I'm never going to pay to watch you wrestle ever. And then Conor McGregor. I don't follow much MMA. I don't follow much UFC. I'm not a fan. I don't get it. It's like I find it boring. I find it dull. I've never paid once for a UFC pay-per-view. Not once. I've watched a few UFC shows. I just don't get it. Okay, so during a conference call to promote this UFC 202 pay-per-view event, McGregor was asked if he'd ever consider doing a stint with the WWE. And I quote, Conor McGregor, "I haven't really thought about it. For the most part, those W guys are pussies. They're messed up pussies if you ask me. I mean, fair play to Brock. He got in and fought at UFC 200, but at the end of the day, he's juiced up to the eyeballs. So how can I respect that? Like, are you for real, bro? Like, are you for real? How are they pussies? They're away from their family 300 days plus a year. They're not with their families. They're on the road. They're taking bumps. They're hitting the ropes. And they're doing that day in, day out. That's not pussy. You fight 3 times a year and make more money than they do. You prick. Unbelievable. 3 times a year this guy fights. 3 times. 3 times a year max. That's max when he's not fucked up and doing shit. 3 times a year. He gets to see his family 362 days a year. Wrestlers get to see theirs, we'll say 80 days out of the year. So Conor McGregor gets to see his family 280 days more than these guys. But they're pussies because it's not real. Guess what? More people get hurt doing wrestling than UFC. You stupid Class A toilet. So from LK to you, fuck yourself. Absolute sack of crap. So disrespectful. You never would ever hear a wrestler diss mixed martial arts because there's a respect factor. The way that the wrestling business gets treated is fucking damn right disrespectful. Makes me fucking sick to my stomach. They go out there 300 days a fucking year, busting their ass off, hurting themselves, working through injuries. They have taped up shoulders. And look at the G1. Eugene Nagata can barely walk. Tenzon can barely walk. Elgin's got a taped up shoulder. Yoshihashi has a taped up shoulder, but they do it because they love it, because it's their passion, it's what they love to do. And these imbecilic morons who know nothing about the industry, nothing about the business, then they could go around calling it, oh, it's fake, oh, they're pussies. Go fuck yourself, you fucking cunt. Unfucking real. Unbelievable. That grinds my gears more than anything in this fucking world. Wrestling's... Why'd you cover that? Wrestling's fake. It's not fake. The result, the outcome, has already been made. It's predetermined, if you like that. But what goes on inside that ring is more real than you can ever imagine. If you have not taken a bump, you have no right to comment. If you've not hit those ropes, you have no right to comment. I've never been in a mixed martial arts ring. I will not judge them. I will not comment on them, even though they're all on steroids, and there they are. They're all drugged up. They announce a UFC pay-per-view. Half the roster's fucking cucks. They're juiced up to their eyeballs. I think they're scumbag human beings. But that's just me. I don't like UFC. Doesn't mean I don't respect what they do. Doesn't mean I just say, oh yeah, they're drugged up fuckers. Oh, junkies. Oh, fucking cunts. No, I don't do that. That's their world. I respect that. They can do what they want. I'm not going to judge them. But for people to constantly, in my ear, wrestling's fake, fuck off. How did it work? I remember talking to one of my friends. And he goes, why are you talking about that fake stuff? I tell you what. This new guy at work, I tore into this guy like he's a worthless piece of shit. I cannot stand it. It's so degrading and disrespect. Okay, we may come on here. We may say a show sucks. But you never hear us disrespect the talents. Ever. So with that being said, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you leave a comment on the various topics we talked about today on the program. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you stay safe. Make sure you stay well. From LK here. I'll be catching your asses down the line.